Hello everyone, welcome to the course. This course is all about DevOps tools. Before learning these tools and their practical implementation, it's very important to understand what DevOps is, why DevOps came in, and how this is helpful in achieving great quality products. So let's start with why DevOps came in. Let's go from the basics and understand how this came into existence. Why DevOps came in. As the name says, is a combination of two terms, development and operations. What is a development team and what is the operations team? Development team, we have people called developers or programmers who write the program, and also QA people. I'm including QA also under development. So these are the people who come under dev team, and admins, network technicians, DBA, all this comes under operations team. And what are the major tasks? The major task of development team is coding, design and testing. Similarly, the major task of operations team is to manage the servers, manage the services on those servers, manage the networks, manage the access, logins, all this would be taken care by operations. Means in simple we can say infra management is taken care by ops team. Similarly, coding, design, implementation, testing, release and delivery and interaction with the customer, all this would be taken care by development team. So these are the major tasks of both the teams. And let's suppose developers have to do some coding or testing, or they need any changes in the infrastructure, they would request the ops team, and ops team will serve the request of dev team. Let's suppose developers have raised a request to change the infrastructure or else a new service on the infrastructure. So whenever they need any change in the infrastructure, let's suppose they need a change in the infra. So they will request the ops team, and ops team will serve the request of the dev team. So meanwhile, before they serve the request of this dev team, ops team will do a lot of checks. Because if this change is made, is this change going to affect the infrastructure? Are any servers going to be affected? Any networks or any services are going to be down? All these checks would be made by the ops team before they serve the request of dev team. So meanwhile, developers are still waiting for the change they need, and ops team are still making the checks, and even though they do all these checks, if something goes wrong, they should be ready to handle it. So yeah, this is a time taking process and it takes a lot of time. Meanwhile, developers are still waiting for the change they need. So developers think that operations are taking a lot of time to serve the request. Similarly, ops team think that developers are always requesting something which may bring some problem to the infrastructure. Hence, there is a gap between the two teams, right? And development team is always looking for some agility, some changes in the infrastructure, whereas ops team is looking for stability in the infrastructure. They need always the infrastructure should be stable. So yeah, the way they work, the way they think is different. There is a gap between the teams because there is no proper understanding between the teams, proper communication is not there between the teams. So due to lack of proper communication, due to lack of collaboration between them, there is a gap between the teams. So this is one of the reasons why DevOps came in. What are other reasons why DevOps came in? Let's see the other reasons as well why DevOps came in. So let's first talk about waterfall model to discuss other reasons. We know this is a very typical model which served the industry for decades. And coming to this waterfall model, yeah, these are the different phases or activities in the waterfall model. Like you have requirement gathering, design, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So here, these are all the different phases which goes in a sequence, and it all just goes in one direction. It all just goes like a waterfall in only one direction. Suppose let's suppose we were in some implementation coding stage. Client came with new requirements. New requirements cannot be accommodated. There is no way to go back. Going back is not possible. Feedback is not possible in this model. So it should go only in a sequence in the one direction. So it's a major drawback. So with this model, there were lot many challenges faced by both the development team and ops team. Both the teams face challenges because of this. It's a very slow model, it's a time taking model, and bug fixing is also very slow. Because let's suppose code is ready now, it's not going to be deployment immediately. It may take some time for deployment. Meanwhile, developers would be working on another code or another requirements, and then testers comes with a bug on the old code, so they have to keep this old code aside and keep this new code aside and work on this old code. So lot many challenges of this waterfall model, like bug fixing is slow, software is delivered only after complete the product is ready, right? It doesn't work anymore, because see, if we are delivering the product after 2 years without accepting any changes, it doesn't work in the real world, because today almost all the clients comes with a new requirements, modifications in the requirements. If those changes cannot be handled, client doesn't need the product anymore. So it's not flexible to handle new requirements. It cannot handle modifications to the requirements. No proper configuration management, very poor configuration management, means there is no proper management to the infrastructure. Monitoring the infrastructure is also a huge challenge. So these are all the challenges you have in the waterfall model. Because it's a time taking process, servers should be maintained up for longer duration. All these are the challenges in the waterfall model, which are faced by both development team and ops teams. So to overcome these challenges in waterfall model, there came something called agile methodology. Before going to agile, let's have a recap of waterfall model. If we talk about the major phases in waterfall: development, testing, delivery, and monitoring. These are the major phases. And also, development team, testing team, ops team, all these three teams were working in isolation. Means there is no proper understanding between them, there is no proper communication between them, there is no, in simple we can say, there is no proper collaboration between the three teams. Let's suppose development team doesn't understand any challenges of ops team. Similarly, the case with every other team. And all the phases are going on sequentially, one after the other. Only once complete development is done, testing begins. After testing, it goes for deployment and so on. So each phase goes one by one without accepting any changes in between. Hence, it's a long process. Many people should be working, time taking, and the software will be delivered maybe after 2 years or 3 years. By that time, business might have changed completely. Client doesn't need this product anymore. So these are all the challenges faced by this waterfall model. So to overcome this challenges faced in this waterfall model, we have got agile methodology. Yeah, Agile overcomes the drawbacks of waterfall model to some extent. All the challenges faced by dev team were overcome in Agile, but challenges for ops team are still there. How it can overcome challenges of development team? It can overcome the challenges of development team because it will use a concept called continuous development, continuous testing, and continuous integration. What is this continuous development, testing, and integration? Here in Agile methodology, it implements a concept wherein development and testing goes in iteratively or continuously. Meaning, it's not that after complete development testing begins. No, development testing goes here in hand in hand. Let's suppose on week 1 there is a requirement 1 or else module 1 was developed, coding was done. On week 2 immediately this module will go for testing. And that week 2 developers will start another module, say module 2 would be developed. Meaning here development and testing are going on iteratively, continuously, not one after the other, they are going on parallelly. So because of this methodology, continuous development, continuous testing and continuous integration, Agile methodology were fast. They were faster releases. Every week or every alternative week there will be a release. Product will be developed in bits and parts, not that complete software will be delivered all at once after 3 years. No, like in Waterfall. Here, software would be developed in bits and parts. So that, yeah, modifications can be taken, new requirements can be accommodated, and development and testing is going on hand in hand parallelly. Because development and testing is going on parallelly, iteratively, developers and testers work together closely. They understand the challenges of each other. There is a proper collaboration, proper understanding between this development and testing. And also it implements a concept of continuous integration. Continuous integration is whenever any new code changes are made to the system, it would be like any new change would be merged into the system and tested again, built, and the process executes on every new change. That's called continuous integration, integrating every bit of code into the system to make sure we get a quality products, and always build is stable, ready for release. So these are all the advantages. Yeah, and so it overcomes all the challenges of development team. But challenges of ops team are still there. Agility was lagging, or agility is missing in ops teams, because deployment or delivery is still manual. Monitoring is also manual. Only after continuous integration the product would be delivered and then monitored. So ops teams were lagging behind, agility was lagging there. So Agile was successful to some extent to overcome the challenges faced by development team, but it could not successfully overcome the challenges faced by both the teams. So again, to overcome all the challenges, like challenges faced by both the development team and ops team, there we have got DevOps methodology. Before going there, yeah, let's have a look at this Agile. It has got continuous development, continuous testing, of course, continuous integration, then delivery and monitoring. Like here in Agile, development team and testing team, QA team were brought together, but ops team was still left in isolation. Like ops team doesn't know or doesn't understand any challenges of developers and testers. Similarly, developers and testers have got no idea about ops challenges, so they were still working in isolation. So there came DevOps in picture. So why DevOps came in? First reason is to overcome the gap between the teams, to make them work together, to help them work in collaboration, to help them understand the challenges of others. So that's why DevOps came in. So it can overcome the gap between the teams, it can overcome the challenges of all the traditional methodologies like Waterfall and Agile, and it can help you achieve faster delivery, qualitative products with less resources and less cost. So that's what organizations are looking for. So that's why DevOps came in. So how this can be implemented and what exactly it is doing, let's look into this now.